In today's video, you are going to see what is in my spot protocol and instructions list that I leave with my family when I go on trips. Hello everybody, my name is Amy Rout. I make hiking and backpacking videos, and I got a couple of requests to show what I put in my spot protocol and instructions list, so I'm going to do that today. So you might be wondering what a spot protocol and instructions sheet is, if you need a spot to have something like this, and why you would want something like this. First of all, you can make something like this if you have a different kind of personal locating device, and you can even make something like this if you don't have one at all, and we will go over that in a little bit. Second, we are all assuming some type of risk when we are adventuring outdoors. All kinds of things can happen, and while there are ways to prepare and mitigate those risks, there will still be some level of risk involved when we go outdoors, unless we basically don't go at all. Because I'm not exempt from the anything could happen, I carry a personal locating device, specifically the Spot Gen 3. So that's where my spot protocol and instructions sheet comes in. It is a typed document that I send to the people that love me before I go on a trip. That way, in case I do press a button, they know what it means and what they should do. Okay, now that we have gone over what this is for and why you might want to make one, let's take a look at it. So right on the top is a link that can be pasted into a URL bar, and that will take people to a site where they can see my tracking information if I've turned tracking on. This information can be important for people to know, so that way they know where my last steps were. I have my spot set up so that I am tracking every 10 minutes. So that means every 10 minutes, my spot sends a signal to let people know where I am at. Although this does not work well in slot canyons. Next, I have a breakdown of all the spot messages that I have. Besides tracking, there are 4 other buttons that I could press. If they do get pressed, they send pre-programmed messages through text and email to the people that I choose. On this document, I typed what each message would say, as well as information about what it means, in what situations it might be pressed, and what action is needed. For example, one of my messages says, "Something is wrong, but there is no threat to life. Send help. Non-life-threatening emergency." That will be sent if I need help, but no emergency services are needed. Possible examples for pressing this would include that I am locked out of my car at a trailhead. I have an injury that is a non-emergency and non-life-threatening that may require me to receive help or assistance getting back to the trailhead, or car trouble and I have no service. Whoever is closest to my adventure may be designated as the main rescue person to come and help. Before an adventure, this person will be designated, and contact info for all emergency contacts will be shared for communication between emergency contacts. So before I go on a trip, I usually call somebody out. There's only one person living in Salt Lake that's closest to us, so they are the person that is required to take action in case that button is pressed, and they know that. All right, and then underneath all of that, I have some extra important notes that I thought was worth outlining. So basically, I say that I will not be sending daily check-in messages, and I explain when I would be turning tracking on or off. Okay, and on the last page, I have possibly useful contact information. I have a list of contact information for my family as well as my boyfriend's family. That way, in case something happens, our families have an easy way to communicate with each other in case they don't already have each other's contact information. Something very similar can be created if you have a different kind of personal locating device. If you don't have a personal locating device, you could at least do this next step that I do to prevent yourself from 127 hoursing yourself. So before I go on a trip, I send out an email to my loved ones with this spot protocol and instructions sheet attached. I attach it every time, that way they have super easy access to it and they don't have to go through previous emails. In that email, I don't just attach my spot protocol and instruction sheet, I also include information that I think is important, such as what car we are taking, what trailhead we are starting from, potential camp spots if I have a rough idea, as well as specific destinations and the dates we might plan on visiting them, and then a when we should be back time and a when you should panic time. This email is not so they can research our trip and see how cool it's going to be. I actually don't care if they read the itinerary at all. The most important information for them is when they should hear back from us, and if they don't hear back from us, that is when all the other information becomes extremely important. That information is so that they have a general idea of where we might be in case an emergency happens or something just goes wrong. I'm sure there are many great ways that people set up emergency and communication plans. This is kind of a mix of what I have picked up and learned from work hitches in remote areas, as well as information that I think is important. Let me know if you have questions. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Sorry about the strap.